Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Good to see you
You too.
in the same time zone. Incredible.
I know. It's so weird
Is it,
because.
are you in your house and do you have internet?
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
I hate to admit it, but we had to get Starlink.
I mean, I think Starlink is really, like, it is good. Like, it is benefiting so many people in so many ways. Starlink is not the problem.
Yeah, I know. It's just I don't want to support.
Yeah.
We tried, and they like have some sort of thing here where we had to use WCOM because the administration's friends with the
Mhm.
owner, and it was just constantly dropping.
Weird. No, I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, yeah, it's super small and like, yeah, it was, and I'm working remotely, so I can't be dropping all the time.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you have that part figured out. And so,
yeah,
especially also because it's independent. No, is it independent of your electricity?
yes,
Okay, awesome. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, well, I mean, no, I mean it's still on our. When the power goes out, we lose internet,
Okay. Mm.
but yeah, so that happens every couple days, but I can't do anything about that.
Yeah. But at least it doesn't happen all the time. That seems,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. I'm just,
It,
let's just wait a couple minutes to see if others join the call live and before we jump into the topic. So,
Sounds
can you?
good. Oh my gosh. It looks like someone has the zoomies.
Oh, behind me?
Yeah. She
Oh, that
was
is,
just flipping around.
yes, there was, wait, let me see how I unblur
Oh,
myself.
Chai. Oh my gosh. She's so cute.
Yeah, she's, oh, now her ears itching. Yeah, she was just rolling upside down on the couch.
Aw.
They tend to sleep peacefully all day, unless I'm on a video meeting and then they wake up.
Yes,
That's the deal
of
with them.
course. Oh, there's Game. Hi,
Yeah.
Game.
She's over to have a drink. I don't know if you can hear her
Oh,
drinking, but
while we're waiting, I did find out, or I did meet my neighbor's dogs, and they are Malinois.
mhm.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah,
Malinois? Yeah.
Malinois.
And yeah. And the one is a boy and he's really tall and he's young. He's like 18 months old. And the girl's much smaller.
And yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I did notice that because Game is European, right? And I brought her with me. The Latin American males are the size of German Shepherds in Europe. It's wild. They're so much bigger, or the average one.
Yeah, the girl is small, the female, and the male is really big, but the um the female is aggressive and it's very intimidating. Like she
Oh,
actually like growled and snapped at Josh and he's big. And so
just like walking past there.
oh, we entered their home.
Hmm. Oh, and they
But so
were
I was a little scared at first, but then she warmed up to me fairly quickly.
nice, yeah. And the young one, is just too rough a player, or
Yeah, yeah, but he wasn't aggressive at all. And they said they work with a trainer like several times a week, but I don't know what kind of trainer.
yeah.
I didn't ask.
Interesting. Well, I hope that either they become friends with your dogs or it stays easy to stay out of each other's spaces
Yeah.
and dogs. Yeah. Oh well. If nobody has joined in the 5 minutes, let's just get started. And
Okay.
Let's just start with your video. Um, because if someone joins to watch their video and the commentary on that, then they get that part live. Let me do the, let me see, I've got it here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get, you know, any of the more intimidating or aggressive on video, but it's
Are
a
they
lot
back?
harder to get.
Are they back from their vacation?
No, I've only seen one, and she pretty much she'll like watch us, but she doesn't try and approach us.
Well,
But
that is,
they all do this thing where their ears go down and back. Like she'll lay in the grass and her ears will go down and back and she'll stare at us, and I'm like not sure if she's going to I'm not sure what she's gonna do, but she ends up just not doing anything.
that is the most likely thing that will happen. Let me just do a very quick overview about your video and your situation for those who watch the recording. So Brandy has written, this is the kind of, with the video I'm about to show you all, this is the kind of interaction I hope to have with all free roamers. It's not a great example to read the more aggressive dogs. I try to avoid those situations if possible. The tan dog has been in the neighborhood for years. Before I shot the video, Kona and Gidget, which are Brandy's standard poodles, greeted her on loose long lines. She's very curious and showed no signs of aggression. The black dog, who will also be in the video, stayed at distance but kept an eye on us. I noticed the black dog and other free roamers holding their ears down when they see us, wondering what that means. I didn't get video yet of the pack of dogs. They haven't been around this week. So, okay, let's watch. So this is the tan dog. That is so cute. Aww. Okay, let me come back here and stop presenting. So the also for context, this is in Guatemala, and Brandy and her family, including the dogs, just moved there, which is partially my fault. um, so yeah, it's new to have interactions with free roaming dogs for both you and your dogs. So I know that can be like a little bit weird to navigate at first because you don't know, and it's such a different dog culture from the US where you used to live. So in this video, I really, the tan dog is so sweet. On her, you said it's a she?
Yes.
Yeah. On her belly, and being like kind of nice and playful, definitely friendly, and um, your white poodle was interested in maybe even asking to play. So that might actually happen in the future as they get used to each other. Your dog's acting very appropriately, just like looking curiously, passing, being interested in a friendly interaction, if at all. Um, the so this dog seems very comfortable with dogs and humans passing her. Is that what you have observed?
Yes. Yes, she's been very friendly. And someone actually had their pet dog playing in the dog park with her. Unfortunately, at one point she had puppies, and she got aggressive with people who came near puppies.
Which that is, yeah, natural.
Understandable. Yeah.
But currently, no more puppies and no more aggression incidents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
What was I gonna say? And the black dog, the ears back. Did you mean that? We see that in the video a little bit in both of them. And when the black dog, he or she, do you know?
I think it's a she.
When she's walking, you can also see part of the time her ears are kind of back. Is that what you were referring to with your question?
Yes.
What do you think it means?
I am not, I guess, like pensive, or I'm not really sure.
I would say it's, especially in the video, you can see the way she's moving. The tail isn't like really up high. She is like a little lower than she might be if she was feeling like the queen of her universe. So in that context specifically, with the movement and the way her posture is, I would interpret that as not being entirely sure what to make of a situation, being a little bit like, So she may not have had lots of positive interactions with people and their pet dogs, and so may be a little bit distrustful. What I would expect, seeing her and seeing that she didn't approach you but kept an eye on you as you were passing, is that her response, her go-to response if she's unsure, is, when we say the fight, flight, or freeze response, that she'd fall towards the flight category. So she is likely to gonna keep her distance unless over time she learns that she quite likes you and trusts you and becomes friendly. But I would not expect an aggressive response for her. Unless a dog is really being forward, as long as they're keeping their distance and you can see their ears go back, it usually means they are going to keep their distance. They are not entirely sure of what to make of you and your dogs, and they're new there. So you're new there, right? So they're not used to you walking there every day. And it will get better over time as they are just getting used to your presence there. The ears probably won't go back as far, but that would for me be a sign that this dog is not intent on doing any harm. They are rather worried that you might be, or your dogs might be, intent on doing them harm. And so I wouldn't worry about being threatened by these dogs. And over time, yeah, hopefully they'll learn that they don't have to worry about you either, and they can just hang out or move in the same relaxed way they do when you're not out and about. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else in particular that you would like to point out? We can also go back to the video.
I'm not really. Just at the very beginning of the video, I don't know if you saw, but the black dog had actually followed. She was like laying under the tree behind the tan dog. So she kind of
Let's see that.
she kind of like took the lead of the tan dog and let it kind of, she like know that it was a little bit safe because the tan dog took the lead.
Let's see.
Just I thought,
Oh,
yeah.
I see. Yes, she's here behind the trash, between the trash and the tan dog.
Yeah. Yeah, and one morning the tan dog came right up to the dog park fence and they interacted nicely through the fence too.
Nice. Yeah, so with this tan dog, I really wouldn't worry. I think. Oh, look at that.
And I didn't get video of it, but they had greeted nicely before this. And you would have heard me yelling at my husband, keep the leash loose, keep the leash loose.
Yeah, I think the tan dog is definitely a potential play partner. Just keep your girls up to date on flea prevention because they probably have
Oh, yeah,
um,
good idea.
free roamers usually do, but as long as yours are not dragging them into the house, you good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she like really looks lovely and interesting. Yeah, so it's nice to see that the black dog is watching her friend have positive interactions with other dogs. It may help her, especially if more people and more dogs move to your area. And neither of those are part of the pack that you described.
No,
Yeah.
no, this is like, it's a pack of like 5 or 6 and they all are always together.
Mm-hmm.
So
And so they together left basically also.
yeah, they come from the farms and come back down into the neighborhood or in the streets.
Okay, I may actually know where they come from.
Yeah.
Is there
And
some? Yeah.
they're definitely, they might be coming when more people aren't around because they're getting into the trash and
Yeah.
there's always like food bones laying around.
Yeah. Yeah. And people may leave, or workers who are working on building neighborhood houses may leave food for the dogs. So when the people are off, the dogs are less likely to be around because there's less likely to be a food source. But the more people, the more dogs you get. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a backup video that I was gonna, if we had time for it, but it looks like maybe it's just gonna be you and me live on this call, so we can do that. Because I just it's a coincidence that I had that I was filming when Chai had an interaction with a dog that didn't go so well. It's a terrible video, so it's not a good example because I was holding the camera as I was telling the dog to fuck off. But I'll just show it to you. Wait, that's not here. It's not here. It's not here. Is it here? Yes. Is it? Yeah. I'll just show you and explain to you what I did in that situation. So usually when you're more kind of in the countryside, a pretend rock throw or just like posturing at them will make the dogs go away, even if they are. I mean, they're more confident when they have their friends with them, right? Like teenagers. They're not. They won't pick a fight with a human or a group of humans and their dogs. That's just not. That's not how you survive as a free roaming dog. So they usually are conflict avoidant. And the reason they may be, in your case, not super happy about seeing you there is because you're new and your dogs are new. And they don't know if the dogs are moving into their niche where they have had their food sources forever. But that too is usually going to go down with the course of time as they get used to you and your dogs and the fact that your dogs don't compete with them for resources. So here, no, wait, I'm not sharing, am I? Okay, of course, all these things have the same. Yeah, that's the one. So I didn't expect these dogs on the street to be like to not be super friendly because they usually are in Mexico City in my neighborhood. That's why I was filming. I was going for a nice encounter between dogs in the street, and then it turned out not to be. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been filming. You know how it is. You can see can you see my cursor? There's one dog here
Yeah.
and one dog here. And when I saw them, I started filming. And my dogs know not to step off the sidewalk unless cued to do so, that's why Chai is off leash. And Chai already knows, well, I don't know yet, that this dog is not coming in with the best intentions because you can see her curve away, right?
Right.
But like, she was like, okay, I don't mean any harm, moved away, curved around. The dog is behind her at this point. So if it had just been this dog, we'd be perfectly fine. And on our way, they're both looking at each other distrustfully. And I'm still expecting it to be like a non-issue. But I think this dog may recently have had puppies and may still be in the puppy hormonal phase, which I've also seen that in game. Like when I had her puppies, she was different, right? It's like there are probably like actual hormonal changes that change your behavior around other dogs or people.
Sure.
I was like, okay, yeah, but let me just move on. And that's the second dog again. So these two dogs are friends. Or the first dog that we saw. And the second one closes in as well. And Chai is like Chai would not engage with other dogs if they didn't engage with her. So when there are two of them that she doesn't know and they're like there at the same time, she gets a little timid. Game wouldn't get timid, and they may not close in on her like that because dogs know for some reason if a dog is timid, and they could bully that dog if they want to. So, and at that moment, Chai like jumped back, and that escalates the thing because the moment she gives in, they're like, "Oh yeah, oh hell yeah, let us have some fun with you." Like again, like idiot teenagers. That's how I think about it. Who are picking on the kid they have realized doesn't have their friends with them, and like the little nerdy kid and the cool kids. And just because they can, right? Because they see this opportunity, and because the one dog probably recently had puppies, so probably responded differently. So when Chai jumped, they went after her. Yeah, and I like they wouldn't have done anything to her. She would just have run away. But there's a street and we're on a sidewalk, and I'm not gonna not defend my dog. So you're probably not gonna see anything else because what I'm doing next is I'm just like running into the dogs and blocking them and threatening them in my human way, which pushes them back. It's just that yes, I'm still holding a camera, but it doesn't really see anything.
Yeah.
So like, I basically stepped in between the two of them with authority, and kind of scattered like what is it called? Pool balls. Is that it? And then Chai was like ahead of me again. At this point, I was like, yeah, thank you. I'm gonna go head off. And
Game wasn't with you?
Game wasn't with me at that on that walk. And then the younger dog, the first one, who is a male dog, was like running around, being like I don't think that dog really means any harm. The dog is I think an adolescent because his paws are still a little too big for his body, so he's probably trying out what he can do, what life is like, what buttons he can push in people and dogs he encounters. So Chai is back with me, but you can see her tail is still like, yeah. Okay, yeah. I think that's unfortunately all you could tell, but all I was able to use. So I told her, good girl. So I just stay calm. That lets her know it's all good. They are gone. It's okay. It's over. Um, so I will always, if I encounter, like if I expect that there could be something that's not ideal, I wouldn't be there filming it because I would be paying attention to my dog, right? And not even letting them get close. But if something like that happens, I just run or like I threaten the dog in whatever way is appropriate. And usually, if I know I might want to threaten a dog, I will throw a pretend stone, but that is appropriate for dogs who are further away, so they won't even come close. And these dogs were already up close because I let them get there. I didn't expect them to have an issue. So I stepped in physically. And it is, I would not expect a free roaming dog to bite me. I would expect a pet dog to potentially bite me, but not a free roamer because they are usually, they will defer to people. It's not, of course, there's no guarantees, but that is very unlikely. And they did. Like the moment I stepped in, they were like, "Oh, okay." Didn't realize you were with that border collie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once you got far enough away, they didn't continue to follow.
Oh no, they didn't follow us. They
Good.
yeah, like after that, once Chai was back with me, they crossed the street to be like, yeah, we're. So they didn't look for conflict or anything like that. If they had, they only like I have had free roaming dogs follow me on walks, but that was friendly dogs who were looking for positive social interactions. And you might also see it if you're carrying something very tasty, right? That dog thinks they might be able to beg off of you. But with a dog who isn't quote unquote friendly, if you let them know that this is not going to be tolerated by you, they are unlikely to follow you. I think humans might do that, but dogs are not usually like that.
Yeah.
In my experience, yeah. And this, so this is like, that's a complete coincidence that I got this video. In between your video and this call, this happens, I don't think it has happened in Mexico to me at all. And I've been for 4 years now here. So this is really, really rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's great for me to see how you handled it. And
Yeah, so like I would not worry about them attacking me as a human. And again, I cannot guarantee, like, I feel like I have to say this.
yeah, no, I know.
I can't guarantee anything, right? Because I don't
Right.
know the dogs in your neighborhood, but it's unlikely. So
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of a free roaming dog, and I'll always stand up for my dog. And I also know, well, one, I know it's unlikely that they will even like be jerks to my dog. That's more like a pet dog thing. Pet dogs have expendable energy because they eat so well that they have time to be idiots, right? But
Right.
roaming dogs have other priorities. They scavenge, they sleep in the shade, and they don't eat the high quality food that the pet dogs eat. Yeah, so I wouldn't expect them to attack me or my dogs, and I wouldn't expect them, I don't know, if they did, I would expect to be able to see it from a distance. And I probably should have like looked closely. I was just in my usual mindset that it's all the free roaming interactions we've had here have been so positive that and sometimes like I on purpose take out my camera, right, and record it.
Yeah.
that that I didn't look closely enough to like make sure those were dogs would be happy or neutral. But yeah, so if they do get close, I will get in there and they will scatter. I just don't have a doubt about that. And I think that probably also helps that you just like it's not an option. You're not asking them. You're telling them to go and be on their way. And especially dogs who have a lot of positive dog-dog interactions under their collar, like Chai. Yes, she wasn't happy in that moment, but how long did it last? It lasted maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. And then she was back to her old self. And with the next dog, she won't even have those feelings because her library of positive experiences is just so much larger than her library of not so positive ones. And in any case, every time something like this happens, Chai is going to see that I am stepping up for her, which is going to help our bond and her trust in me, right? That she doesn't have to worry about it. Which she doesn't know because it just doesn't really happen usually. Yeah.
Right.
I hope this is helpful.
Yes, it's very helpful. And I found it interesting that what you said about Chai versus game. Because several months back, someone had a big dog on a choker collar and it got off. And it went after Gidget. And even though Kona was standing right there, Kona would have gone back at it. Whereas Gidget kept running and I did similar to what you did. I stepped in between. I tried to get between the dog and Gidget. And it was laser focused on her though. And nipping at her, and it wouldn't even, like, I had a high value treat. I couldn't even like get it to sniff it. It was really scary, but
How did
I get,
it end? Or
well, like I said, I got in between it and the dog, and I don't know how long it lasted. It probably wasn't even 30 seconds or maybe a minute. But the owner finally came but when it pulled off its choker collar, I yelled, "Is your dog friendly?" And she yelled, "Yes. Yes, she's friendly. Maybe to humans, but not to other dogs." Well, it barreled at us. I knew it wasn't
yeah.
friendly. And then it just started chasing Gidget and nipping at her. And Gidget was screaming. It was awful.
Yeah. And
But yeah, I
that,
just felt like it's irresponsible pet owner.
and that is a behavior that you will see with pet dogs. That is very
Yeah.
unlikely to happen with free roaming dogs because they usually have good social skills. And also they usually will not, like if you step in between the two, the free roaming dog will not continue. And the pet dog might, because the pet dog has a lot of confidence around humans. And free roaming dogs they just don't have that. Because people sometimes throw stones at them, or some people feed them. So some dogs have that, but many don't. And the ones who do are usually friendly to you and your dogs. And the ones who don't are more likely to just not approach. Or if they do, they will retreat pretty much immediately when you step in. And I've had that experience too. And it's the one time one of my dogs that was game got bit by another dog. It was, of course, a pet dog. And it was, of course, right before I was going to take her with me to Austria on a plane ride. And before, like, it was the day of that stupid flight. And I was like, I'm just walking, and I want to make sure that she gets to stretch her legs before she has to go on the plane.
Oh,
And
that's
there was,
awful.
yeah, and then there was this fenced like playground. There was one person with a dog in there, and my dogs awoke, and they're playing here now because we're on the phone. And I asked the person, "Is your dog like good with other dogs?" Because I was near the airport already. I was staying near the airport because I didn't live in the city. So I didn't really know the neighborhood. There were kind of, the highways around airports. It's not really where I wanted my dog off leash. So that fenced in area would have been perfect. So So I just asked, like, can my dog come in? Because I know Game would have been fine with that dog. And the person, yeah, of course. And I believe the person. I'm going in with Game. And like, I don't know, like at first they ignored each other and Game did her sniffing and the other dog kept doing its thing. And then the dog just like went at her and bit her foot and drew blood. And I had
Oh
to,
no.
which is super annoying because they wouldn't, Mexico has a policy that you can't board a plane if your dog has any signs of injuries. And of course, that is the one time they looked closely enough.
Oh.
Yeah, that's really annoying. Like it's annoying. It's really annoying, but it's usually not free roaming dogs that are the problem. Yeah, that is my the point that I'm trying to make. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that could also happen to you in the US or anywhere. That's, I think that is not it's not about Latin America. It's just about free roaming dogs versus owned dogs. Owned dogs have a confidence and sometimes don't have the right experiences or just, yeah.
Yeah. That incident I described was in the US.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we learned from that to not trust the human, I guess, which is sad. And it may just be like the people probably don't do it on purpose. They probably just don't know, right? Okay, so now let me show you our next video. We are still in Mexico. If I find the share button again, oh, yeah. Let's see. No, that's the one I need to close. Yeah. I'm going to play this without sound. And I know the context of the video. And I was going to ask everyone who showed up, which is only you, so I'm just going to ask you to interpret the behavior you see. And then I'll give you the context. So here she's just getting into something that she shouldn't be getting into in the Qi'ra. And her human has just called her away from there. Padme on the floor. Okay, let's go back here. So thank you, Tina, for sharing this video of your two beautiful girls. Brandy, what did you think that you saw?
I guess it looked to me when she called the dog away, or whomever called the dog away, it looked like the brow was a little furrowed, like maybe showing a sign of stress. And then definitely the biting of the tail and circling to me would be like stress or anxiety, or maybe frustration. I'm not really sure.
Would it concern you, or would you?
I guess I would be a little concerned because it went on a bit longer than, like, my dog might chew her tail for like a second or two, but So that might be concerning to me, that it's getting a little more and more of a threshold, but then it seems to move on.
Yeah. So yeah, I found the tail chasing part is the most interesting part of the video, and I played it on silent because Tina comments on it, and that kind of makes it quote unquote easier to interpret because you know more of the context, right? So before Tina took the video, they were playing fetch in the yard. So Qi'ra, that's the husky, her arousal level is above baseline because she just got in from playing fetch, and that was exciting and fun. And then she probably was like, oh, there's something in the furniture that I would like to investigate. She's an adolescent, or well, towards the end of adolescence, but still, she's a husky. She is very curious and likes getting into stuff. And so, yeah, being called away from there may not have been her favorite thing in the world, because she might have wanted to eat something that isn't edible or something, just because. But then I think it is a genuine itch that she had in her tail, right? So she was like licking her tail, and Tina scratched the upper side of the tail, and then she started the circling thing. And Tina on this video actually says, like, oh, that's a first, because the dog has never done this before and has never done it after. She like just did it this one time. So she was probably like, that itch probably got stronger for some reason that we don't know why, but and then she probably got a little bit desperate of like making the itch stop, and her tail kept like running away from her. But and then the itch stopped and she moved on with her life. So like, knowing that wider context, that the dog is well exercised, has a really beautiful life, and has never done this before or after, like, it's not concerning, right? But if it kept happening, and I expected that if there were more people on the call, someone would say, oh yeah, this is an OCD behavior, because we know that tail chasing is something that some dogs show compulsively. So like, they will start doing it and keep doing it and get into it over and over again, and don't seem to be able to stop themselves. But you did not fall into that trap. And yeah, and in her case, it is not. It was just very likely a genuine itch in the tail, and then not getting to that itch and being still at a higher level of arousal after running around outside. Just like, for a moment, that itch and that wanting to get to that stupid itch getting off control. Yeah, thank you, Tina, for sharing. I thought it was a really cool example, because I think there are many people who would be like, oh my god, the dog needs to be on whatever medication dogs are prescribed for compulsive behaviors, but that is clearly not the case in this case, right? And I think it just shows so well how we need to interpret, or when we often see on social media, for example, all these videos, and they're 30 seconds long, and everyone has an opinion about it, but really, if you don't know the context, you can't really say much about it, because there's only so many behaviors in a dog's repertoire, and they can show up in all kinds of different contexts. So we just cannot know what is going on unless the person tells us, or we are there in person. I just thought that was a really nice example of this. Our two girls. Let me just see what else. Okay. Our last video here. Let me just close the other one, so I'm sharing the red screen this time. So here a little bit of background information. The brown dog is Silvio. That's a friend's dog. He's, how old is he? Gabe, I'm gonna say he's 6 years old. I hope I'm not completely off. And he has been with Gabe and Ralu for most of his life. And the white dog is a dog that their family just recently got. So they met the dog in the street, and the dog pulled on Gabe's mother-in-law's like jacket or something, as if to say like, help me. And she then was like, okay, and took the dog inside and fed it, with the plan of releasing it back out into the street the next morning. But the dog just didn't want to go away. Like, it just hung around the entrance, and so they ended up keeping it. And the dog is still pretty skinny because it used to live on the street, and at this point, it has been with them for maybe that's the second week. And the dogs don't live together, so those are two households. They just spend a lot of time together, and that's, I don't know, but maybe the third day that they are together up here. That's a rooftop terrace. And his name is Rito, the white dog, and you will see when I play the video that he's not putting weight on his right back leg. He just had surgery for that yesterday, so he's being taken care of. At that point, he just hadn't. That was the Easter week, and he hadn't been to the vet yet because everyone's on vacation. Yeah, but yeah, he has a family now. So, and what the question that with this video is when to interrupt. So the two dogs have fought once, and they will spend time together in the future because they're kind of cousins now. So everyone wants them to get along. They fought once when Silvio, the brown dog, like had enough of the playing, and the white dog Rito didn't want to stop. I am guessing the white dog is an adolescent or like 1-year-old dog. Is definitely younger, and is still in that phase where play nonstop. While the other one enjoys playing but wants a break every now and then. So watch Silvio, the brown dog's body language, and let me know at what point, if you were observing, at what point would you interrupt this particular play session. No, oh, I'm trying to click on the brown. Here we go. You can just say it anytime you would.
I guess now, or a couple seconds ago,
Mm-hmm. Let me see what
when she started like hovering.
Mm-hmm. Hovering, what do you mean?
Like the white dog is kind of staying on top of the other dog.
So would you base it on your interruption? Would you base it on the behavior of the white dog, or so Rito, or Silvio, the brown dog?
The brown dog.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah, that's who I would watch too. That's the adult in the room, right? And as long as he's having fun, it's all good. But if he stops having fun, at the first sign that he stops having fun, I would interrupt because I want them to be friends, and I want the adult dog to know that I have his back, and yeah, he doesn't need to resort to trying to fight the other dog because the human doesn't step in, right? And I agree with you. That's exactly when I would do, when I would interrupt too. And the reason it comes up for me is when, because I see the Silvio's, the brown dog's tail going between his legs, and it's usually up. So you can see here it's like coming up again, but it'll keep. Now he's like fleeing. So if I missed the tail going between his legs before, him like trying to get away here like this, and his owner is kind of sitting where he's moving towards. So he's asking for help. So if he's kind of moving away with his tail down, that's another sign, and the more obvious one, that it's time to help him out. And here his tail is like down again. Like here you can see again that his tail is down. He's like, no, please, let's stop. Please, dad, make him stop. He's just annoying. Like he's not mad at the white dog. He knows this is a young dog who wants to play, but he's like, I'm just done. That another, he like tucked his tail and then sat down because the other dog was going for his leg and his tail, like trying to look for cover. So then he's shaking off and he is leaving the space. So at this point, at the latest, help him out, Gabe. So it's a good example. And Silvio is being an excellent player. He's really, he's also really patient with, let me just stop presenting. He's really patient with Rito, the young white dog. It's just a little too much, but he is putting up with a lot from a young dog. The young dog is showing perfectly normal young dog who likes to wrestle behavior, and it's probably a pity mix. They usually have that kind of play style, and both of them are likely pity mixes, so they probably both have that. Like they're good, they're well matched playmates, but just because of a question of age, Silvio needs way less play than Rito. And a good way to help them out in a situation like this is to have furniture privileges only for the adult dog. So the adult dog can retreat to the couch, for example, or on the bed. And the younger new dog knows I'm not allowed on there. So because that's a very clear way for the adult dog to negotiate a boundary without having to escalate. And then you can, so you as the owner would make sure that the younger dog knows, no, you can't go off, you can't go on the couch. He can still get those privileges in a year or two, but at this point, because of the other dog needs his safe spaces, right? So he can actually enjoy interacting with the new little cousin. And another thing that I've seen Che Chak do is teach the dog who wants to play less to come into middle position. So to come into between your legs from behind. And that is a safe space. So the moment you do this, your human will make sure that you're basically safe in this bubble, and other dogs. So for example, if you are out on a walk, you can come into this space and ask for your human to keep everyone else at bay. So that would be my tips for the relationship of those two dogs. Personally, if I knew that they are both socially savvy, I might let it play out the very first time and allow the adult dog to set an appropriate boundary if the adult dog can, right? And this hasn't, he wasn't able to, because some adult dogs do that once, and then the young dog knows, oh, okay, when you say, and when you show the first sign of being done, you really mean it. But that only, that works between certain combinations of dogs and not between others. And if it doesn't happen the first time, that was when he tried. Silvio, the adult dog, tried setting that boundary. That's when he ended up in the fight. But he didn't succeed because the young dog didn't hear him or didn't listen. And so in that case, it's just on us as humans to make sure they are, that everyone's comfortable around each other. And it's probably...
Sorry.
Please, yeah.
Oh, how would you intervene in that, like, video?
Good question.
As the pet owner,
I would call Rito, the white dog, the young dog, away. Or if he didn't listen or hadn't learned that yet, he's been there for 2 weeks, right? So he may not. I would just go in and take his collar and lead him away, like without making it a big deal. He didn't do anything wrong. He just doesn't know any better, right? So
right.
I would just lead him away and then allow my adult dog to like shake off and find his resting space. And I might hold on to the young dog for a little bit, and like just so he calms down, and then let him go again and see if he's now in the mind space to also just hang out. I might put a leash on him so I can stop him if he is clearly not in the mind space to hang out and wants to just go have another round of play. And if that's the case, then he'll just stay on a leash, or he'll be in a different room until he's able to like peacefully coexist, or until the other dog wants to play again. So initially there will probably be quite some management, but as the younger dog gets older and as the house rules get clear, for example, as the older dog learns, oh, okay, I can get on the couch and then I have my piece there, or I can go between my owner's legs and ask for my owner to intervene, because then the owner doesn't have to see the detail that is going on. There will probably be less and less management in a relatively short amount of time, just seeing that they do actually play well together and both of them enjoy it initially. Yeah. So thank you, Gabe, for that video, and I hope this was helpful. Yeah, that was the 3 videos I got. Brandy, since you're here, we still have a minute, and I'm not in a hurry, so if there are any other questions you have, ask away. You got me here.
Oh, thank you. I don't want to keep you. But the one thing that just reminded me as you talked about like trying to work, with a young dog. An issue I've had is like, if I want to use, my dogs know like how to work with treats. So like normally I try and get Kona away from the puppy that she's, it's annoying her with a treat, but then the puppy will come too because it doesn't yet know.
Wait, do you have a new puppy?
No. My mother-in-law has a puppy. Sorry. We stayed with them, and I mean the puppy's not getting enough exercise and stuff, but that's a whole nother story. But it was, just when you try and intervene with playing, I ended up escalating it because if I tried to get Kona away and the dog would follow, even if it wasn't with treats, then that would make her more agitated.
So who was the one who wanted to keep playing, Kona or the puppy?
The puppy.
Okay, so
But if I tried, yeah, the puppy was hard to wrangle.
what kind of puppy is it?
It's like a golden doodle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would, the dog I am trying to get away is the one who is quote unquote, because it's not truly inappropriate. They're just being a puppy, right? But the one
Right.
who is pushing the boundaries of the other dog. So that's the dog I want to get away. So I
Okay.
wouldn't try to get your dog out of the situation, but I want your dog to be left alone. So I'm removing the other dog.
Okay.
In that situation, yeah, I would probably not use a treat because it is likely that both will be following the treat. If the puppy has a collar, I try guiding it depends on the puppy's age as well. So if you can guide it away, or if it's still very young, can you pick it up and just carry it in another room where it can be with your mother-in-law and do other things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would that have worked in your situation, out of curiosity?
I don't know, because at that point, uh, it probably would have. It's just at that point, Kona was so agitated with the dog because she doesn't like when other dogs get excited
Mm.
that, me trying to pull it away, she was still trying. They're both trying to get at each other. So
Yeah,
it wasn't like if I removed her that Kona would be like, oh, good, that dog's away from me. She kept coming at me.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, so that's probably because you waited a little bit too long to intervene.
yeah.
So if you intervene at the right moment, when you see Kona showing the first signs of she's done playing, then she will probably be grateful that, okay, peace in the house. Yes, take the puppy. Take the
Yeah.
puppy and go.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, at a point where both of them are like kind of annoyed at each other or like going at each other, your best chance is just to do it with two people. And at the same time, like say you take Kona and your mother-in-law takes the puppy and you guide them apart from each other at the same time so that nobody can follow the other one. And once you have a little bit of distance, you can handle it in whatever way makes sense. Like that could be, you could use a treat for each of them. So you would use a treat on Kona and your mother-in-law would use a treat on the puppy, but they wouldn't be going after the same treat. Or you could just
Right.
be guiding them away or kind of find a way to close a door between them so that things can calm down. Yeah. Or put a leash on them, whatever props you have available in that situation.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for showing up. It would have been kind of boring doing this all by myself.
Well, I'm glad I could make it, and I'm looking forward to the next couple topics as well.
Yeah, me too. I hope we get a bigger group because it's always more fun to discuss in a group. I'm just
Definitely.
gonna quickly stop the recording before I ask you how things are going in general.
Oh.
How does that work?